My daughter, the future wildcat, or cardinal. She's a great kid. I came close to missing out on being a real father to her. It scares me when I think about that. You see, Jenna's mother and I aren't married. And if you're not married when your child is born, your child has no legal father, which means that I wasn't her father, at least as far as the law was concerned. And we certainly weren't alone. Right here in Kentucky, almost 1 out of every 3 kids is born to unmarried parents. That's nearly 15,000 babies every year. Now, some of these guys just aren't there for their kids. But it doesn't need to be that way. The fact that you're not married doesn't mean you can't be a good father.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm doing my best anyway. At first, I didn't see any reason to become the legal father of my little girl. I mean, her mom and I were living together, and I wasn't planning on going anywhere. Paternity acknowledgement didn't seem like such a big deal. But then the person at the hospital started explaining what paternity is all about. I realized, hey, things can change. And the only way I can be sure that I'll always have a relationship with my daughter is to be her legal parent. Let me tell you some other reasons why I decided to acknowledge paternity.
When unmarried parents don't acknowledge paternity, the father's name doesn't even go on the child's birth certificate. I can't imagine what that feels like for a kid. A legal father can have full involvement in important decisions made about his child, including things like visitation and custody if the parents split up. It's nice when parents can work those things out on their own, but if they can't, the father can ask the court to help him have an ongoing relationship with his kid. Children can only inherit certain benefits from a legal father. So if something happens to the father, the child may be eligible for life insurance, Social Security, and even veterans benefits. Sometimes they can even inherit money or property. A legal father will even be able to put the child on his health insurance policy at work if he has one. And then, of course, there's child support. Kids definitely need financial support from both parents. If my girlfriend and I ever break up, I wouldn't want someone else paying for Jenna. I can take responsibility for my own daughter. And I want Jenna to know that I'll always be here for her.
Now you're probably wondering what kind of process I had to go through to acknowledge paternity. I bet you think it was really difficult or expensive, right? Well, I was worried about that too, but it wasn't a problem. We used the Kentucky Paternity Acknowledgement Program.
All parents need to do is read the paternity acknowledgement form and then sign it in front of the notary public at the hospital when their child is born. They even have the form translated into Spanish. Remember, an unmarried father can't go on his child's birth certificate unless he and the mother complete this form correctly, so it's really important to get it right. The form is pretty straightforward. The front of the form collects information about the parents and the child. The top section is for basic information about the father, including name, date of birth, and social security number. It also has a space for the dad's notarized signature. The middle section of the form is for similar information about the mother. Her notarized signature goes here. Then there are 2 blocks on the bottom for hospital and state use. The back of the form starts with a paragraph that summarizes the paternity acknowledgement process. The next section explains the rights and responsibilities of the parents. It includes information about the legal issues related to paternity, like child support and custody and visitation. This section also reminds parents not to sign the form until they're in front of a notary. The notary actually needs to witness your signature in order for the form to be valid. Finally, there's a number to call if you want more information.
Paternity acknowledgement is an important decision, so be sure to read the form carefully. And if you don't understand something, just ask.
Here, Dad.
Thanks, honey. Be right there. And don't worry about the cost. If you sign the form while you're in the hospital, there's no fee to add the father's name to the birth certificate. They just make sure the form is complete, check your ID, and notarize your signature. That's it. Now, some people have questions about specific situations that are a bit more complicated than mine.
What if the mom is married to someone else? If the mom was married to someone else when the baby was conceived, while she was pregnant, or when the child was born, the law considers her husband to be the father, even if he isn't the biological father. The mother and biological father cannot acknowledge paternity in the hospital. The mother needs to provide the husband's information at the time of the child's birth. There is a way to deal with this situation, though. If the mother, her husband, and the biological father all agree, the 3 of them can complete a 3-way paternity affidavit through the State Office of Vital Statistics. This form allows the husband to deny that he is the father and clears the way for the mother and the biological father to acknowledge paternity. The birth certificate can then list the child's true father. What if the father is married to someone else? That's a little less complicated. The father can sign the paternity form even if he is married to someone else. What if one or both of the parents is a minor, under 18 years old? Can they still sign the form? Minors cannot sign the form at the hospital. If minor parents do want to establish paternity, they should contact the county attorney's office in the county where the mother lives. They can get information there about paternity establishment. What if one of the parents doesn't want to sign the form because there is a history of domestic violence or concerns about abuse happening in the future? It's important to remember that paternity acknowledgement is voluntary. Although it provides important benefits and is a really good thing for most families, parents should not sign an acknowledgement form unless they are comfortable doing so. Suppose the parents change their minds later, after they've already signed the form and the father's name is on the birth certificate.
Hopefully, the parents will think things through carefully before they sign the form. But if parents do change their minds, they have 60 days to cancel their voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. If there's any doubt that the man is the father, the parents shouldn't sign the form. There are other ways of dealing with paternity.
Blood or genetic tests can be used to determine whether a man is the father of a child. These tests can be requested by the mother, the father, or a child support enforcement agency.
Now, I've been talking about dealing with the paternity issue at the hospital. But what happens if the parents don't get it done at the hospital? Well, the first thing to remember is that if you didn't establish paternity in the hospital, it's not too late. Parents can acknowledge paternity until the child is 18 years old.
You just go to your local registrar's office. The registrar will help you to complete the form and will also notarize your signature. You can also sign an acknowledgement form at a regional child support office or at your county attorney's office. But take it from me, if you've just had a baby, you're going to be really busy. Just do it in the hospital. It's a whole lot easier. Besides, why not give your child two legal parents right from the start?
I know that acknowledging paternity can be kind of overwhelming. I was a little hesitant about it at first, too. But then I realized, what am I thinking? This is my daughter we're talking about. Now, obviously, a dad is really important in a kid's life. And now Jenna knows how important she is to me. I did the right thing, and she doesn't need to question my commitment to being a real father. Believe me, acknowledging paternity was the best thing we ever did, for me and Jenna and her mom. Think about it, and do what's best for your son or daughter. What do you say we go get some ice cream now, huh? Good game today.